I'm not ready. Not ready.
No, it's fine. We'll go on and just start without you. You'll jump in eventually. No,
I'm good.
Tim's getting his squat racks recording studio all set up. I love this. I love the
Ugh.
diversity of where we all are right now. Dixie's outside. Amber's at her house. Karen's at the gym. I'm in my camper. This camper has become my recording studio.
There we
If
go.
you guys were to see the large screen that I have, like a extra large monitor, I have like a $3,000 camera. I'm not using it. It's just here, like whatever. Um, but like I am so excited to talk a little bit about DEKA Philly with you guys, and I really wanted this dynamic of Karyn and I interviewing Dixie, Tim, and Amber in the realm of coach and athletes, and just kind of have that perspective because we don't get to hear this dynamic often. We either hear from the coach or we hear from the athlete, but rarely do we get to hear the package. And kind of let us know, like Amber, are you coaching just Tim, or were you coaching the team that day as well, or how was this going?
Yeah, so I'm coaching Tim. However, Dixie's had the pleasure of, enjoying some fun partner workouts in prep for their event, and I think she's learning to have a twisted version of fun. But either way, they killed it last weekend, so it all worked out for the best.
Yeah, in our house we have type 1 or type 2 fun. Like it's fun or fun, and we have to differentiate. Like, what did you mean by it's going to be fun?
Yeah, I think my clients all know fun is like the new F word.
Yeah,
Fun.
not fun.
Yeah.
Well, let's just dive in. Karyn, jump in with any questions you have. I know you weren't able to make it to DEKA Philly, but I got to see these guys just all out go, and it was. Let's just talk about the event in general. It was a stacked event with great athletes in every heat.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I wasn't there in person either, but I was online live streaming with Shan, and it was just so exciting to watch. I had the most amount of FOMO. It just was like, oh, it took everything we needed. I want to drive there and just jump in. But no, what an awesome field you guys got to race in and prep for Worlds, which is also just around the corner. So I think it was awesome for the athletes to experience that level of racing just a few months out from Worlds.
Yeah. So going into this, Tim and Dixie, I think Tim was leading it, but go ahead and talk about kind of your shit talking with Dustin and Chelsea.
Dustin and Chelsea.
How'd that go beforehand, and how did it go day of?
Um, it wasn't exactly shit talking. It was just trying to amp up a rivalry to make it more interesting, you know? Um, Dixie will tell you, like, I think where I was more talk than bite, but you still gotta play it up, right? Like, you don't know what's gonna happen, and we had a shot, so just be confident and go for it. No, I think it made it more interesting. It brought a little more attention to it. Um, that's my take on it. I messaged Dixie and was like, I don't know if you're in for this, but I'm gonna talk a little bit of trash, and she was like, yeah, this time I am. And it was nothing personal because they're both great people, but I feel like it made it a little more fun, put a little more in the line, let's say.
Well, I'll tell you from the outside looking in the media, it was more fun because I know your personality, Tim, and I was like,
Right.
whoa, buddy. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, and him and Chelsea, like Chelsea's on the team too, so it was just kind of a fun little like team, it was all friendly fun.
Right, right.
So it was good. It was fun for me to sit back and watch them. Like, crap, how do I cheer for both of you at the same time now when you guys are like duking it out online right now? That was
That's
fun.
right.
Yeah.
So then
Well, good.
the funny part was, I kind of mentioned, but I ended up smashing my knee last week, 2 Fridays ago. And as of like last Wednesday, I couldn't even run. So I didn't know what was going to happen. So I started this whole trash talk session. And then I was like, oh crap, like what do I do now? And I was like, just roll with it because I can't let them know that I'm in trouble. Luckily, I was able to pull through, but there was
And
definitely
it was
some.
funny because as Tim was telling me these things, and he's like, well, shoot, like, what are we going to do? And I was like, well, tell me about your partner. Can she do this? Can she do that? Because I've never met Dixie in person either. And I was like, we're throwing it on her. She's going to have to, right? Which is kind of the fun part about teams is you can kind of lean on each other when and where you need to. So that's kind of what makes teams fun.
Yeah, Amber's like, can Dixie do the lunges? I'm like, yeah, she already is.
Yep.
How did you come up with? Because I know I'm the person like Amber just tells me what to do, and I'm not good at like race strategy. So I'm like, just tell me what to do, and I'll do it, and I'll try to run fast. How did you guys come up with your race strategy, and who did what?
Well, we did the
Good.
partners last year, so we had a similar plan to last year. We knew we were going to share all the runs, and I knew that Tim was going to bike and row because even if he does it slow, it's faster than my fast. So that was the main planning, I think.
The main plan. Do you guys train together or ever practice before? You just kind of like race day, let's go.
We did some training together beforehand, and we've done Team Strong and Team Miles together. So, we're familiar with each other's strengths and weaknesses, and yeah.
That definitely is such a advantage almost because you get really used to each other's transitionings and like really get familiar with like what each other are capable of and when to jump in, when to not. Like it's hard for a team like Karyn and I, for example, we get to race the fit together usually once in qual and once at World. So it's nice when you can team up and train together and really get familiar with each other. That's awesome to do all three.
Yeah.
That's great, I think.
I think I've had a different partner every single time I've done a fit, and it's really fun, but at the same time, like you don't get into a rhythm whatsoever. In this whole concept of coach and athletes here, I'd like to hear from Tim. One, have you always been coached, and when did you choose to be coached, and then when did you choose to join Pure in that team specifically? Because I really want to get the athletes that are in the open and maybe the age group really well that are not being coached into coaching. And that's one of the things I trust a lot of these affiliates and coaches to do is as we encourage this sport to get developed, to take them under their wing. So for you, what was that like? How long did you do DEKA without any kind of any coaching?
All right. I'm going to back up here for 1 second before I address that. But you're talking about, because me and Dixie live probably about 45 minutes away from each other. So we do get to train together sometimes. But as far as like our strengths and weaknesses, like she knows that I'm already going to get in her way when she picks up the farmer's carry. And she told me, don't get in the way. And what did I do? I got in the way. So as much as we know what's going to happen, it happened anyway. So it was just kind of funny. But other than that, we kind of had a pretty good communication, except for when I got a little confused on the dead ball overs, but we figured it out. So anyway, back to your question. I haven't been coached for DEKA up until July. That's when I started with Amber. Before that, we kind of just, I say we as in Dixie as well, we just like do our own thing. I had joined back up to, we'll say a functional fitness gym, which is a High Rocks affiliate in January, just to try to be more like hybrid specific because they're doing a hybrid class. I did that for about 6 months. And then this is where it's going to get a little bit funny because depending on who watches this. But anyway, I went to Montana to do the Spartan Race Ultra, and I actually ran into Katie Duke there. So I was talking to her, and she's like, oh, you should come on board with Grayson and his coaching. And that kind of planted the seed. Like, even though I wasn't necessarily interested in going that route, it put that idea in my head of like, maybe I should like specialize a little bit more into this DEKA because like I had told Amber, like this team race was kind of my A race. That's why I went to North Carolina. That's why I went to Fort Wayne, not necessarily for the ultra. That kind of was something else, but I wanted to do well, and I know Dixie wanted to do well, so that was the plan. So anyway, I kind of came back, and I think it was like, I don't know when it was, in June, Underdog had their DEKA weekend, and I think I couldn't make it on Saturday, and I was like, maybe I'll go up Sunday. I wasn't sure. And I think I reached out to Kevin and talked to him about it, like, hey, is it sold out? Do you have space? Blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, I know you're going to be busy that day, but maybe I'll talk to you about coming on board with you. Like, I'm interested, you know? So anyway, I go up there the next day on Sunday. talked to Amber a little bit, although not much, and then talked to Kevin about it because he's running an event. And just kind of after that, before I think I was on the way to, I guess, Fort Wayne, and I was like, I think I'm going to try to go with Amber, like just what they're doing. I mean, what Underdog's doing is amazing, and they have like such a big group, and they all seem to do very well. I don't know, like if it's gonna sound weird, but it's like a vibe thing. Like Kevin's great, but I told him I don't know when he's joking and when he's serious, and he's like, it's really hard when he doesn't have the clown mask on. But I know he means well, like, and it's nothing bad. It was just, I don't know, like something,
Sometimes you
some
vibe with some people, sometimes
right, like
just
It's true.
I don't have a question on whether Amber's like joking with me or yelling at me per se or trying to give me shit. Where like Kevin, you're like, is he serious or not? So like it just vibe, like you said, vibe to Amber, and then I reached out to her, and we kind of went from there. So that was the story of how I got into getting a coach for this.
That's awesome.
I think it's kind of
So-
funny how it jumped there, but I mean it's true.
Well, you know, some people would call that indecisiveness. Other people might call it doing your due diligence.
Yeah.
And Karyn, your mic gets quieter whenever anybody else is active. Just so you know, I don't know if you have a setting you switched, but I want to hear from you. So maybe we can get that fixed. This dynamic, you know, coach and pupil or coach and athlete is always fun to me. It's one of my favorite. And if I continue to cover DEKA or be involved there, it's going to be the pinnacle of what I do. I love turning around and showing people who's there. I loved covering Zach yelling for some of the athletes or talking and, you know, putting him face to face with Amber, who's commentating. But there is a level of that sideline coaching that's kind of like the football field, where they're yelling at their athletes, right? And I think that's kind of what you mean by the vibe is you need to know when your coach is telling you to turn it on, suck it up, or making a joke. Like I get it, but we switch. And the thing is, I'm going to go into this maybe on this call. If not, it'll be a whole separate podcast. There's already cannibalization happening within the hybrid space. It's not actually growing as fast as it should and could. And what you're starting to see is, I wouldn't call it poaching yet. I think people are settling into home camps. I really don't think anybody's poaching. I just want to say that. I don't feel that, but I have seen several people switch camps recently. And I think it's about finding the fit. And I think that most mature athletes and mature coaches are not going to be burnt on that conversation you just had, Tim. I think they're really going to be like, good for him. We want the best for him. And that's what it is. But there is a bit right now of it's a niche and it's not mainstream. And that's what we're here to do is hold everybody accountable, get it to the next level. And so that's the dynamic why I want people to know, let's flood HHT and Pure and Underdog. They've got plenty of capacity to coach teams. And I have had literally 9 phone calls today with hybrid athletes. And I asked, and I'm really digging in because I'm seeing some unhealthy patterns. I'm seeing some great patterns out there, things that really need to be addressed. Nobody else wants to talk about it, but the dynamic is going to change your performance for sure. So good for you, Tim, for I'm not going to say settling. Well, I am going to say settling. Thanks to your bravery for not settling for the first coach because you did due diligence. And that's how I see that. Now, I know Karyn, she's got her own coaching program. She's got nutrition programs. She's also helping Keaton and Marissa on there. Karyn, like, what's your take as a coach, but also this host on investing in yourself into a coaching program? Because I know you're real big on this.
Yeah, so I myself has always worked with a coach. I don't like to program my own things just because I am crazy and I'll like either do too much or if I'm not doing enough, I like psychoanalyze it. So that side of thing, I always see the value as a coach to have someone smarter than me tell me what to do. And it's also, I've done it since college, is had someone tell me, so that way I learn as well. You know, the first thing I tell a coach is like, pretend I don't know anything, and I want to learn from you. So if I'm asking you a question, it's to gain the knowledge. It's never to question what you're doing. So you could tell me to eat dirt, and I would do it if I think that's going to make me better. But on the flip side of things, I think what I have found is like, because everyone kind of has like their little like pod, and then I'm like the one that's like the floater. So the cool thing I think we have in this space is where I don't necessarily have one thing. I've been able to really work with each individual coach and their brand. I know me and Amber specifically, I provide nutrition coaching for a lot of her clients, and we've never had an issue of them coming to train with me. I'm their nutrition coach. We're aligned with what we're teaching them. I know she's second, like what I tell them, she kind of backs up. What we talk about in training or what she does in training, I kind of emphasize too as well. So there's that thing. Same with Hybrid House as well. Like, you know, I have my coaching business, but at the same time, I do all their nutrition coaching as well. And that's just like known that there's this respect factor as well. I personally haven't ever had an issue when it comes to like the coaching side of things. And I think what's
right.
really great about this community is there is that sense of respect that I see too.
Yeah. So we're going to come back to that because you mentioned Hybrid House and nutrition. I want to tell a little bit about my family story, but I want to hear from Dixie. You got pulled into this team with Tim. It's probably his idea, I'm guessing. Was it Tim's idea?
I'd say it's a mutual.
Okay. Who Dixie, who posed the idea first? I just want to know.
I maybe Tim asked if I would be his partner again, probably.
Okay. And so you're set. I see it now. I'm seeing the whole picture. Tim drags you into this again and then puts you on a flyer, but you're ready for it. You're ready for it. What's the experience like being chosen as a partner? That's really what I'm getting at here. Is I kind of asked Dustin and Chelsea the same question. What's that whole process like when you're measuring up a good partner? I know Karyn, I've heard Karyn's story and how she partnered with Amber. It affected my household. It affected one less podium on our wall when Karyn and Amber did it. But I love it. I love how the partners are picked. So Dixie, tell me kind of your take on pairing up. How do you do it? What is it? What goes through the process?
I don't know. I kind of expected Tim to ask me to partner with him. I know he has some more options, but I didn't really have options that I would have reached out to be my partner. So, when Tim was like, hey, you want to do this with me? I'm like, yeah, sure. We've done this before. We have a plan. We work well together. We can train together. It wasn't a hard decision to make. Of course, I see really good elite athletes, and I'm like, man, I wonder what I could do if I partnered with, that elite female or even another elite male or anybody. Or I'm like, I could do this with my son. There is a lot of options for the future, but I mean, I've enjoyed partnering with Tim, and it's great that we live close enough to train together.
Yeah. That is those options really kind of are day of sometimes, and sometimes it's weeks and months out. It happens like really quick, and I think almost all of mine have like been after I've chased 2 elite heats with the cameras, and I'm like, all right, who wants to hang around longer and do this? And I got to go with Katie. And, I keep saying that she pulled the weight, but then she shows me the videos of how hard I went with the rower. Like I was pulling like a 135 on that rower. And like, if you look at my sit-ups with the ball, like, how funny is it that I don't even know like the names of the zones or workouts, and I worked for DEKA and I cover the sport.
Every race I go, I'm like, so how many laps do I have to do? And what's the order?
Yeah. What? How many reps is this one? Like,
I'm like, let me just throw an extra lap. It'll be fine.
Right. You did at Worlds. You did an extra lap and still hit podium, right?
Yeah. Was that
Yeah.
right?
So that decision, like I was kind of salty because like I had chose a podium female elite athlete. You two still beat us, and like literally all of my friends and all of my athletes I've partnered with is like, Shan, if you worked out, if you trained, you would be insane, dude. You just build a motor, build an engine, and you've got this. Like you could be so great. And I'm like, yeah, but I kind of just like film. I just kind of like live streaming and supporting the athletes. But then every single time I get sucked into being, a participant in this, and then I missed it by like what, a minute. I was away from you guys from a minute, and then at last time I was like,
Where'd they pull away from you?
what? I didn't look at the splits. I don't really. I wish I cared as much as you guys care.
Oh, I don't. I have no idea. What?
He ran separate later.
You can ask Amber. I literally have no idea. I'm the most.
Oh yeah, we were not in the same heat, so I don't know where they pulled away, but we were cooking. I do know that every single event that I've missed the podium, I'm cramping out of the sled. So whatever you guys can tell me to not cramp out of sled, like maybe I just need to go run again. Maybe that will help.
I think you need to train.
Yeah.
Thanks, Amber. Thanks, Amber.
Maybe you should get a coach, Dan.
Yeah, I've got plenty. I've got so many. Like long story short, what I was going to pull back to Karyn was, I hired Corinna Coffin for nutrition because I'm like, okay, you know what? Like I've been friends with her for years in Spartan days and all of this stuff, and let me go ahead and support her for a minute. I am the absolute worst client. Like here's my sober second half for everybody. Like this is how it's going. So like guys, like I don't listen to anybody. Like I don't even listen to myself. So I really don't want to put a coach through that again. Like it's just like what happens is if I just get stubborn on it, I'll be the best. I just have to get stubborn on it. Like that literally something has to come into my brain. If you guys have this and you fix it, I'll probably throw like at least $500 if you can fix the brain part. Because as soon as I get the brain part, the body part will do the stuff that you ask. It's just up here that's all about that. Therapy, I guess. That's continue therapy, right, Karyn? Like just dive in. So back to this coaching thing, the dynamic. What's it like, Amber, especially when you had to miss out and you were not there and your athletes are going? What is that experience like? And you could also talk about on the days that you are present.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this weekend was so hard. I think because like the team dynamic is just something so awesome and so special. So, I mean, I was super proud of my team. They really just kind of like cheered for each other, supported each other, and kind of took on my role for me, which was awesome. And that's what you really want to see your team do. So that was great. We even had some jump in and team up with another one when their race went, their partner fell through and just like different stuff. So just seeing them just kind of rally and figure it out was really awesome. But I mean, it's just like I find their success is so much more exciting than my own. So, not being there to cheer them on the podium or in that last burpee or whatever, like that's my favorite part of coaching is just like watching it all come together. So that was the hardest part for me. So I would have loved to be there just to be there. But I mean, we got some stuff going on here at the gym. So the timing just didn't work out for us for this one. But
Yeah, I know you and Keith Hartwick in South Carolina, massive expansions in your gym. So congratulations to you guys and really just seeing that growth in your cities. And you had to bust a wall out. You didn't open a second location, but you made the first location twice the size.
We're currently making the second location, so it'll be done by next Friday. So the wall's currently in the process of coming down this weekend.
That is so awesome.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Congrats.
But yeah, that's why I wasn't there last weekend. Had some other things on the go.
I feel like I know Karyn, Amber, and Tim. I really don't know you well, Dixie, at all. I would love to hear your background actually in sports prior to like hybrid. What is your background from high school, college, all of that?
I do not have an extensive background. Like I know a lot of people did track extensively in high school and college. I didn't go to college. I joined the Army right out of high school. But in high school, I played a year of field hockey. I played a year of lacrosse. I threw javelin, and I wrestled with the boys team from about, I think, 8th grade to 10th or 11th. But I am the youngest with 3 older brothers, and they all wrestled, so that was my favorite sport. Um, so after high school, I joined the Army. I was in for about a year and a half, and then I got out um, due to some choices I made. Um, I picked up
Those are fun. Choices are fun.
I picked up running. I've always kind of been a runner. I wouldn't say I always enjoyed running, but it's something I've always done. Um, so I picked up running again after my second kid, maybe 2014, just doing it for fun, road races, got into trail running, got into Spartan racing in 2015.
Nice.
It took me a while to get competitive in OCR because I didn't think I was ever going to be good enough. And then finally I made the jump and I was good enough. Like, so that was really cool. And then in 2019, I did my first High Rocks in New York City, the first time they came over. And that was like the old version of High Rocks with like the extra long sled push and pull because it was one way down, one way back. I jumped into the pro division thinking I was going to kill it. And I was like second from last. Like, it ate me alive. I'm not a big athlete, so I think it was just so much harder and heavier than I thought it would be. Then, I mean, I did my first High Rocks again, or after, COVID kind of threw a wrench in everyone's plans. I did another High Rocks in 2022. I would have went back to New York City to jump in it again and jumped into the open wave, which was much better for me. And then from there, I was like, I love this. It gives more purpose to my training. Something different. I still stuck with OCR for a while, and then DEKA came along, and I was like, oh, this is cool. This is like High Rocks, but a little easier, different. I don't know. It's not really easier if you're doing it right. It's still hard. So yeah, I mean, now I'm still road running, trail running, OCR here and there, High Rocks, DEKA. I love it. I love having a purpose.
Did you guys do Thieves and Beggars?
I did.
You did, but
Yeah.
Tim and Dixie,
No.
you did not do. Okay, we're looking. Some big things are literally happened today that blew my mind. Like the announcement. I'm working on the graphic right now for the hybrid report, and we're looking. Actually, I'll announce it here. We're looking at moving away from DEKA and High Rocks altogether. It serves its purpose, and it's really great for training, and it's a really great mark. And I know Yancey used to put more emphasis on the mark and knowing where you are at a, but I think it's gonna pan out, and it's gonna quiet out, and new people will come in and be excited. But I think it's gonna be a check-in. Where am I at in my fitness? I don't know if it's gonna really consume the groups as much, but we're really working on building a network of these Thieves and Beggars, Guardian, Warrior Wolf with Zeta Wolf, these other smaller hybrid comps. It's just really going to be great to see those regional events happen. But they're going to be the same people that you see at the DEKA, the High Rocks. They're going to be, when big convention centers are put together, you're going to see the community to come together no matter what brand, if it's High Rocks or whatever. It's just, we don't know if we're going to continue covering the sport in 2025 as we are right now. Lots of great conversations, guys, over the last 48 hours that I just can't wait to tell you the direction. So with that background, Dixie and High Rocks and DEKA and Tim, I know you guys have a good vibe and you're still climbing and you still have some crosshairs on some people. I know this, I can see it. What is the future? Are you looking outside of DEKA, or do you have any specific DEKA goals that you're just like, before we move on, we got to get this?
Tim, you want to go?
Um, I don't know that we do specifically. I mean, we were gunning for an elite podium. We thought maybe we could get third, but we kind of just missed out on that. And funny story with that is like during that race, I didn't even realize we were battling for third place. I knew Mike and Katie were kind of back and forth with us, but I was like dying, and I was just in it and not counting. Like I didn't know what spot we were in. And then like afterwards, she was like, I was just like, you should have told me, but at that time. But anyway, so yeah, it would be cool to get up on elite podium just to be. I was kind of bragging that I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but everybody that beat us was younger than me. Like I was the oldest guy at the highest spot there. So that's not too
That's
bad,
solid.
you know, for an old guy. Like even I know Dustin's in my age group, but he's just turned 40, so he's got a couple years on me. But so that was like our goal right now, and then we're going to try to see if we can do a little bit better here before the end of the qualifications, and maybe try to go down to Worlds. But other than that, I don't know that we have anything specific. It's kind of just one thing at a time.
What are your personal
Yeah,
plans?
just flow with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as far as team goes, yeah, I'm good with rolling with Tim doing team stuff. It's fun. I mean, yeah, we want to qualify for Worlds. We plan on hopefully going for at least something, and I think we'll get in on a roll down. Most likely for age group, not elite. We know where we can fight, where we can fight better. I mean, beyond teams, for me, I plan on, I mean, I'm going to finish out the High Rock season, finish out this DEKA season. The High Rock season goes till July. Last year, I tried qualifying for Worlds, and I missed it. Still kind of trying to qualify. I have Toronto and Chicago this fall, and then we'll see where I race in the spring. I mean, a few years down the road, where am I going to be? I like the hybrid stuff, but I think I love trail running.
Yeah.
You know, I will always go back to trail running even if I give up OCR completely or the hybrid stuff. Running's always going to be there.
So Dick, I have a personal question or ask of you. When you go to Toronto, my daughter's going to be there, and we believe that she is javelin built. Like she's built to throw javelin, but they don't have it at the high school. Like I told her I'm willing to buy you, like, and we have the big enough property that I could like set it up. But this girl was number 1 under 18 in Spartan last year. She goes into the first day of training for cross country this year and pulls 10 strict pull-ups. She had to move the rubber band assist that the girls were using to the side. And she goes down, fully locks out, pulls up with her fingers over the bar. And, you know, like the trainer's like, holy crap, who are you? And why don't we know about you in high school? You're a sophomore and you're like built like, so it's all hybrid. And Karyn knows her, and both Amber and Karyn have actually been in the starting corral with my little girl. So I would love for you to just speak a little bit to her about javelin, like your experience there. 'Cause she's, you know,
I did it for fun. I did it. I wasn't very good at it. I don't know if I'm the best person to do that.
Sure. Well, that's where that might be the because she's very timid. She's quiet. And sorry, Charity, if you're watching this and I'm talking about you, but you know, she needs somebody who's done it to tell her that what it's like. Not somebody who, like, I don't know what the hell it's like to throw a javelin. I probably could, but I don't know. So like dad and mom are never the one that you want to hear you should do something from, like ever. Like it's never the way, you know. I'm so happy that they took on DEKA and now High Rocks together, because it's been so good for the mother and daughter bond. And, you know, to have those elite podiums that they've had at such a young age, it's like I get so emotional when I see those pictures of my daughter beside Amber and Karyn, and I'm like, she was 14 in that photo. That's awesome. And then Karyn and Amber kicked her off the podium, and I've been salty ever since.
You're never gonna let us live that one down.
Ever. Like, she's gonna turn 18, and at her birthday, I'm gonna be like, and there was that one time where Amber and Karyn pushed you off a podium. No, I loved it. Like I was like I wanted to talk you guys out of it because they were like so hype, to get it in Orlando, and then you guys just snuck in. But that's the game, and that's and you really need to learn in those losses. Like it's you got to train so hard it doesn't matter who shows up that you still get the podium. Look, she's 14. I'm dad. Go harder. I don't care. Go harder. Right? Like that's how it is. So all right. So this has been good. Karyn, do you have any questions for them on the? I know you're a coach and like you probably don't have a lot of questions, but people who are not coached right now is who this call is for. This is what I built this call for. What questions would you think a brand new person would want to hear from this dynamic?
I know what my training looks like for a race, and I know how I program my clients' training, but what does a week of training look like for you as far as like maybe mileage when it comes to running? Just like you don't have to give me a day by day, like total mileage running, hybrid workouts, if you do CrossFit workouts, like what does that kind of volume look like, and has that changed? Because I know for me, I started off lower volume. Now I run 55 miles a week and work out twice a day like a psychopath. So what does that look like for y'all getting ready for an event?
All right, I guess I'll start. Before joining with Amber, I was just doing my own thing, which when you do your own thing, you think it's good enough. And then comes race day and you're like, wow, that was not good enough. So as far as volume goes, it's like 100 times more, just daily doing work, basically. Where before it's like so much easier to let yourself slip or not push yourself or not, just not do something. And just like, I'll do it tomorrow. So now like that accountability is there. I don't have to think about it because it's already there. Like when I look in the app or whatever, or she's like, hey, this is what's going on, or giving me a little update of do this and do that. It just makes it easier and takes one less thing out of it. But as far as the mix goes, I just do it. She can probably chime in on this, but we're running like 3 days a week, and the mileage isn't very high. And I kind of battle her on that, but I'm listening to her because I don't run as much as Dixie, but I need to be better. So I'm like, I need to do more. And then we get back to more is not better. But anyway, and then we have like a couple of strength days in there. I think it's like a mix of strength and a mix of like, I guess you would call it endurance or hybrid. And then just adding some running in there to double some of those up. I think that's basically the mix.
I love hearing your like perspective. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, we don't have the running volume crazy high. We are building it. There is more in this next training block. But I mean, just because in hybrid, you can still get a lot of good endurance work and low impact on the machines too that does transfer back and forth. So I personally, as a coach, just don't think, pounding the pavement is definitely the only way to do it. So we're trying to be a little bit more mindful, especially with the amount of races Tim likes to do. He's like, it's hard. It's tricky to like monitor volume and rest and recovery, yet also like be prepared. And, it's a fine line. And I think that's where it does become beneficial to have a coach so they can monitor all that for you and you don't have to think and you can just open the app and be like, this is what I'm doing today. So I think I could say that for all coaches out there, not just for myself. But one thing I want to go back to, just because I wanted to say this earlier, it just wasn't a chance. I know you guys said like, oh, we're only going to just qualify age group. And I really want to encourage age group racers to get rid of the word just. There is nothing less than of an age group racer in any of these events. And to be quite like completely honest, there are some phenomenal age group racers that were just like within seconds of the cutoff from elite. That doesn't make them less than. I'd say, all age group racers are right there with us. It just came down to, who had the best day at the best time on that specific day. And I think, yeah, so you guys are phenomenal age group team, right on the cusp of elite. So don't count yourselves out. And to all your age group racers, same thing to all you guys. So just going back to that, now back on track.
I think you're right, Amber. And as the sport, I had this conversation of the lost video we had for the very first podcast. Like when the numbers go up, like when I'm talking, like there's so many more hybrid athletes, let's say 10 times you're going to have 10 times the amount of elite athletes, which is going to make more age group athletes. Like it's just going, the top's always going to be the top. And so, you know, Tim, you're old, and that just happens. We all get old, and you know, I'll use your excuses too. It's not that I don't train. I'm just old because I technically was only like a minute from you guys. So like, that's not even bad, right? I don't know. I think I was probably even further than that. I didn't even look at the times. I just saw I wasn't on a podium and I cried.
Yeah, you didn't steal this one.
Yeah, I know. I did get to share like at least 8 different times that I beat Kevin Gregory in a high rocks competition.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't share too many details because details don't matter. The fact was, I have a photograph. I'm on second place and Kevin Gregory is down on third. That's it. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
No, I realized
Right?
this weekend I'm racing with someone that's like almost 10 years younger than me, and I was like, oh my
I
god,
love that.
no.
That helps you with your age group. No, it doesn't help. It doesn't help your age group average or whatever, the combined age. What competition is that? Is that for the strong or the mile?
That's why I had to bow out of that conversation. I was like, y'all are stressing me out. I haven't raced in a while. I can't listen to the smack talk. I am racing in the mile and the strong this weekend in teams. So 1 male and female, and then 1 female. And I think
And you're going team HHT.
What?
You're going to be in South Carolina HHT, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you want to say who your partners are?
One of them is my client, so a guy that I train. We're partnering up for the mile. And then I am partnering up with Marissa.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So I'm like the petite, like fast plyo athlete. So I always have to find someone that's that.
So I'm gonna go ahead and make a.
Not bring us home on the box sofas. That's for sure.
I think I need to make a graphic for you and Marissa.
There you go.
Like you have the queen shit talker, and you're not trying to talk shit right now. Like that's amazing. Good for you, Karyn. Let her have that. Let her have that. Right.
I know. I'm like, I'm not a shit talker. I'm like, it's like everyone I partner with is, and I'm like, yo, shut up. I'm not.
I'm not. Thank you very much.
That's why me and you like do like it's a good vibe because I'm not a shit talker.
Are you guys shit talking each other right now? Who's not a shit talker? Is that what?
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Well, I'm really excited. You guys know I've wanted to stir the pot quite a bit in this hybrid space, and today it got like it's official. I haven't announced it official, but I get to spend a good amount of time with Hunter McIntyre, and I'm really stoked about this project because I was literally called out of the blue from a number I did not know and was specifically chosen. And so after not feeling included in things, I'm just like, whoa, universe, you let go. And all of a sudden, like opportunities open. And I'm just like, this is like my space. Like I need a kind of a punchy kind of shit talking guy to be the center of my focus for a minute. And, I do want to say that it's never personal. Everybody kind of feels it is, but like, no, like some people just love to like stir the pot and like get the juices going. And it does help some people and it shuts other people off. So I get it. Like we had a special thing for Rally in the Valley, a set of questions. I didn't even send them to Lauren Weeks. I just know her personality well enough that I wasn't like gonna get her to dig into anybody, you know? So I try to be a little conscious of that. And I know, Amber, you're not really big on shit talking. Karyn, you do have the capability. I wish I could bring that out more.
Situational.
Yeah, sure. This depends on how well you know them, I guess.
It really does. It really
Like
does.
you'll shit talk your own partner. Like,
Yeah. No, my client, he's literally out there playing pickleball, and every time he's like a professional pickleball player.
I was talking about the T-Rex. Your partner, the T-Rex.
Oh,
Never
yeah.
mind.
Yeah, no, like I'll shit talk someone I know, and I'm like, don't embarrass us. Come on.
Yeah.
I shit talk my partner, not the component. So I don't know where that's at.
Well, I have absolutely loved being your guys' friends and in this community, and I'm so grateful that you guys are here to share this and encourage other athletes to be coached. Like, be coached. That's what I wanted this call to be about, is be coached. And Dixie, I know you got a little bit of coaching from the teams and stuff, and I don't know if we covered whether you're currently coached or not, but get coached. It is a great investment of yourself. And Amber, that's when I have been successful. What you said earlier, when I don't have to think about what to program, what to do, and I got somebody watching my metrics, that's really where it's been super successful for me. And, you know, in our household, we've been coached. Like, my daughter's been coached. Candace has been coached for a long time. Like, sometimes it's just telling you you're doing it right and that you don't need a coach. Like, literally that has happened. And I think that's super powerful for somebody just to even edify the path you're on. So that's where I'm going to end this call. Karyn, do you have anything else you want to wrap up and say?
No, I'm excited for this weekend, and y'all did awesome. So
yeah, thank you for being our guest.
Today.
Thanks for having me. I know Tim was like, "Hey, you want to be on this podcast with me?" And I was like, sure." So he invited me, not you, but thank you for having me.
I did technically invite you through Tim because I specifically, I did say in the chat, I was like, do you and Dixie, like, it was a both thing. So
okay.
It was just, oh god.
Sorry, go ahead. No, I was gonna say, well, I'm gonna take it on and I'm gonna shit talk right now since y'all don't think I'm capable of it. And I'm gonna say, bring it on, Karyn, because I have a female partner too.
Oh, are you going to Kevin's gym?
Of course I'm going to Kevin's gym.
I didn't know if you were heading.
Gym.
I didn't know if you were going to get back and compete. You've taken a couple events off, so I didn't know.
I haven't raced a DEKA since me and Amber raced.
You took off at least 3 events that you would have run this past weekend. That's a lot of events. Like, you would have run at least three heats or 2.
Yeah, I ran maybe 3 or 3 in Fort Wayne.
Yeah, see? So like
retirement, my 1 week retirement.
No, you had it on me because I literally have not raced a DEKA since we've raced.
Whoa, Amber shit talking made Karyn like start making excuses. Did you see this?
I mean, but I've been training for High Rock, so
There you go.
Hey, this is
light compared to what I've been training with.
This is the banter that I'm really looking for in the sport, because it makes it so fun, and as long as everybody can keep it fun, there's no like, everybody gets to sleep at night, right? Like, it's not a big deal. So
they get stress at an all-time high. So that's all you're getting from me. It's okay, Karyn and I make a great team, and we still love each other.
I know.
Yes, you do.
I think your husband texted me because he wants me to go to come race at y'all's thing. So I need you to motivate me to buy a ticket.
I will shit talk my husband right now because he'll still love me at the end of this. Okay, I now love you, Karyn, if you race with him too. But I've asked him so many times this year. I'm like, hey, do you want to race with me? And every time he's like, no. And then all of a sudden, like, he's like, oh, guess who's going to come race with me in Canada? I was like, who? And he's like, Karyn. And I was like,
I thought I was racing with you. I didn't know.
I was like, you won't race with me, but you'll race with my DEKA Fit partner. It's fine. I get it. She's cooler than me.
Okay, so I guess no. I guess I got to look at plane tickets tonight.
Are you coming?
Oh, that's awesome.
You know me, I'm last minute. I'm like, oh shoot, I got to race tomorrow. Let me see.
All right. So okay. Who's all going to Toronto? Raise your hand if you're going to be in Toronto.
For what?
High Rocks.
For High Rocks. High Rocks.
No, I'm not.
Karyn, I miss you so much.
There's something with it. What was the date of it?
October 5th.
Oh yeah, that's why I put it up. I'm doing another race actually. That should be a good one. In Alabama the weekend after.
So, okay. So I literally just got invited to cover that too.
Legend of the Falls?
Yes.
There'll be a bunch of, there's all of Taylor's whole group is going. So I'm racing with him and.
Yeah. So I just got invited to that, but if it's the same weekend as High Rocks, I got to go up there.
I don't think it's the same. I think it might be a weekend after, but I'm trying to be smarter about selective races. So my training blocks are better.
Got it. Okay.
No, she cut out.
Tim's like, what?
What? I only have like 4 weeks of races coming up.
Oh man,
Yeah, I've
right.
been there, and then I hit Worlds and did 6 races, and I was like, what did I
Well,
do?
this is bonus material because some people probably closed it off already because we said our goodbyes. But Amber, as a coach, when an athlete has so many competitions, do you just count that towards the training blocks, right? Like you just count that in as work done? No?
No.
No.
Because you have to peak, you have to taper, it totally affects your races.
But what I'm
Correct.
doesn't it kind of
I ask clients this question. I used to ask them when I would prep people for bodybuilding. Do you want to win or do you just want to race? Because how training blocks work with peaks and tapers and all of that is very, like the week before is very easy for a race. If you're racing every weekend, you're not going into a race fresh.
Ready.
Also, too, there are a certain number of weeks where you want to do strength blocks versus power versus endurance and things like that. And when you're racing all the time, it's hard to do those cycles in a training program.
Well, I'll make a little short clip of this and I'll throw that part on there where you said no, don't count it. So,
Yeah.
well,
I
thank
was
you guys so
literally
much.
last night saying like, what are you doing to me? Like, and I was like, after this, whatever one it was, I was like, you're done. Like, you're cut off till Worlds. And he agreed, so it was fine. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. We will continue and follow up. I would love to have another call. After your guys' next event, Tim and Dixie together and see how you guys do and how you grow as a team and kind of just do a follow up. So, you don't have to agree to that now, but I would love to just reference this call and where you are by that. When's your next DEKA together, do you think? Just guess, like, would it be Carolina next year or what?
We're doing a mile on September 8th. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, team mile. So
2
we have
weeks.
that.
Okay. Well, maybe we could do just a little quick call, or you guys could send me a video, just like a recap while you're together, and I'll post it.
Okay.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Hey, I got 2 things real quick. If
Yeah.
we're
What,
good.
Tim?
Back to the coaching thing, right? So just advice for someone out there, make sure, it doesn't matter who you go with, but you need to have that good communication. Like I have a friend at my gym that is using a different coach, and it rubs me the wrong way, the way things are going. And like, if I was in a situation, I would get out of it, where like, I'm very open with Amber and she's back and like, it just flows perfectly. And that's something that you want to find. So just like advice on finding a coach, doesn't matter who it is, but make sure you're comfortable and they listen and like adjust on the fly basically to what your needs are. I just think that's important to add into there. And then if we rewind all the way back to the shit talking, Dustin actually reached out to me first just to like ask if we were going, and he was doing research, and that kind of sparked it. But I think the best part was when I put out that little poll thing of who are you picking, and then Amber was like, I can't pick either one. I'm in the middle. But I specifically wanted to send that to her just to make her pick, even though I wasn't gonna be mad if she picked Dustin and Chelsea. But
I went right in the middle. I was Switzerland. I went right smack dab in the middle.
It is so hard, like, because so many of you guys are like genuinely my friends, and I see you guys that first and foremost over anything, and that's why like last year I was in the position with DEKA that I was in. And I just had this conversation today. I didn't know, I knew of Chris Roglowski, but it wasn't until Philly of last year that I actually got to meet her and spend some time talking to her. It's just wild, guys, like these friendships, and they form so much, but then it's really hard to cheer you on against somebody who is just like crushing it and you want them to win too. It's so hard. It's so hard. So I don't know how you coaches do it, especially when you have like 5 clients all in the same heat competing. It's like, go team, everybody.
I think it just comes down to like cheering them on for their best race. So you kind of take the outcome away, and you're really trying to push each of your athletes to their best race, and wherever that lands them, great. Like, that it's
I get it, but like a lot, as I've made more elite friends, I know they're going for gold, and I know they've trained so hard, and like everybody has their own like life struggles that they've gone through and called and told me about, and like it's like just even getting there was so badass. Like sometimes, like it's just like just even showing up, I'm just like, you made it here. Let's just focus on that. Now let's compete, right? And I don't know, I get so emotional because like I really I don't consume media. Like I don't follow your guys' careers. I'm just there as a friend, and like it's just heart pulling when I see like somebody start pulling back, like when Marissa and Keaton, let's just say when Keaton flatlined out there and he just like gave into his pain and suffering and weakness. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it was like so dramatic. It was so he is such a
Finds a new partner.
right. Versus like I'm just trading with other people, whatever, drama queen. And so, but it was like while I like to shit talk Keaton more than anybody else, it was really hard to watch like my friends like lose that steam and like lose that chance, that striking distance with who was it? It was Colin, and was it Colin and who was ahead of them? Colin and somebody. It was anyways.
Maybe Tara.
All right, guys, we've said goodbye. It's a Midwest goodbye. We've said goodbye 3 times. We're gonna head out. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night.
All right, thanks.